In the day's other headlines, European Union leaders gathered in Ukraine's capital and insisted they're still united in supporting Ukraine's war effort. The meeting in Kyiv came a day after the U.S. Congress removed aid for Ukraine from a bill to avert a government shutdown. But in Washington, the White House said the consensus on Ukraine is still strong.
There's a bipartisan support, as we have seen from day one. And look, let's not forget what the purpose of this is for. This is for to see the continuation of the brave people in Ukraine to fight for their freedom, right? To fight for their democracy.
In the meantime, the Associated Press reported the Pentagon has told Congress that it's already low on money to replace weapons for Ukraine. Another worry came in Slovakia, which borders Ukraine to the west. Today, the Slovak president asked the pro-Russian Robert Fico to form a government after winning Sunday's elections. He has 2 weeks to fashion a coalition. The last of some 100,000 people from Nagorno-Karabakh crossed into Armenia today. That ended a week-long exodus after Azerbaijan recaptured the region. Refugees have been waiting on streets in southern Armenia for buses to bring their belongings. In all, more than 80% of Nagorno-Karabakh's population has fled. This year's Nobel Prize for Medicine goes to 2 scientists whose discoveries paved the way for vaccines against COVID-19. The pair are American Drew Weissman and Hungarian-American Katalin Karikó, both of them professors at the University of Pennsylvania. In Philadelphia today, they recalled their pioneering work with genetic material known as RNA to fight infections.
We would sit together in 1997 and afterwards and talk about all of the things that we thought RNA could do, all of the vaccines and therapeutics and gene therapies, and just realizing how important it had the potential to be. And that's why we never gave up, and we just kept persevering and kept working at it, and here we are today.
That research led to COVID vaccines based on messenger RNA that targets proteins in a virus. The approach may eventually help to immunize people against some cancers. The CDC is moving to endorse a common antibiotic for preventing sexually transmitted diseases in gay and bisexual men. The proposal released today involves doxycycline. Recent studies show it can stop some STDs from developing if taken within 72 hours of exposure. The guideline is subject to 45 days of public comment before it becomes final. And on Wall Street, continued worries about interest rates mostly held stocks in check. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 74 points to close at 33,433. The Nasdaq rose 88 points, but the S&P 500 barely budged. And a Chicago woman may now be the oldest skydiver ever at 104 years old. Dorothy Hoffner made a jump from 13,500 feet on Sunday, attached to an instructor. She called it, quote, wonderful, and officials asked Guinness World Records to certify her feat. Hoffman began jumping when she turned 100. She'll be 105 in December. Still to come on the NewsHour. Child care centers scramble to adapt after pandemic-era assistance expires. A former Army reservist exposed to toxic burn pits wins a precedent-setting lawsuit. A novel medical program focuses on keeping singers, dancers, and musicians healthy, plus much more.